Today is May 26th. I'm going to do a full walk around my yard, mostly for my own reference or for any viewers I get in the future's reference, so I can see how things progress over the summer. So things are just finally starting to kick off pretty good. We had a terrible spring, late frost. Now it's been hot. At least we're getting some rain. So I'll start here. This willow tree. It started to leaf out pretty early and got frosted real hard. A little worried about it here. Like the branches are discolored. It froze so hard, a bunch of branches died, as you can see. But willows are pretty resilient. I believe it'll bounce back. Over here, I've got a series of hazelnut bushes. I'm not sure how they're going to turn out. I got them from Tractor Supply. I couldn't get them anywhere else. I found this one nursery that was selling them, but they would only sell 10 at a time. And I was like, what the heck? I don't need 10 hazelnut bushes. I got 4. And a flower pot. Alright, cutting over to the front yard. You have one more hazelnut bush here. And my potato garden, this is something I've been running a couple years now. I really like baked potatoes and I like to put fresh herbs on them, so I got my chives and parsley there. This is really great for dressing up a baked potato or even pan-fried potatoes or whatever. Excuse me, with some fresh herbs. It's hard to beat it. This is my son's maple tree. When I first bought this place, he insisted he wanted a maple tree for some reason, and we found one across the road over there. We dug it up. First I had it way over there and back. Then I decided I want to put fruit trees there. I moved it up here. It's doing okay this year. Every year it seems like deer eat it and really knock it back, but they haven't touched it so far this year. Here, Stanley plum. I just put this in this year. It seems to be doing pretty well. It's got some new growth on it. Pretty large tree. It came in a number 3 pot, and it was a big tree in a little pot. It was kind of funny looking when I got it at the store, but it's growing. Hopefully we'll get something off it maybe next year. It had a few flowers. I don't see anything taken yet and becoming fruit. Alright, last fall I put in 2 Chinese American chestnut hybrids, and they're just starting to wake up. I've actually never seen these with green leaves on them. When I bought them, it was late fall, and they had all brown leaves on them. And they're just starting to grow. Those should be a really pretty tree once they get going. I've seen pictures of Chinese chestnut, and they're a pretty tree. Plus, they grow edible nuts. That's kind of the idea with almost everything I plant around here. It has to at least have the potential to produce something I can eat or be useful somehow. This other one's a little behind the other one, but it is budding out. It is waking up. They wake up late. You see, everything else is greened up quite a bit. These didn't even start really popping out any kind of leaves in just a few days ago. The other addition, ducks. I got 6 Penkin ducks, and I can't remember what the brown ones are called right now. I did lose one of my Penkin ducks because it broke a leg and I had to put it down, sadly. And they got a new pool today. They've been spending a lot of time in. They're pretty happy. They're pretty spoiled. Like, they eat whole watermelons, so they got it pretty good. Elephant grass, I put this in 3 years ago. Just tiny little patches when I transplanted it here, and I've really come through. Big, thick patches now. This stuff got frosted all the way down to the ground twice now this year. It's grown back. It's pretty resilient. This stuff had already grown almost this high once, and it got burned all the way back to the ground level. It's come back to this point. Shouldn't be any more frost, so should be the end of that. And a goldfish frog pond. I put this in 3 years ago. It's been pretty fun. Some of these fish are 2 years, well, all these fish are 2 years old, I believe. One of them might be, I've kind of lost track, honestly, but these fish are going on a handful of years old. Frog over there. There's usually 4 or 5 frogs at any given time. I don't see so many right now. Anyway, onto the garden area. So I got 7 of them that are filled. As you say, I have 1 I'm still waiting to put dirt in, or soil, as you should say. I got 7 5 by 10 by 10 inch tall boxes, 5 feet by 10 feet, 10 inches deep. This is kind of new, so I did not have this set up last year. Anyway, I got it separated by strings, which was, I've never seen anyone else do it. I just used what I had to separate the different kinds of onions I put in here. Garlic on this side, white onions, red onions, yellow onions, and yellow bell peppers. I did have some green onions in there where the bell peppers are. They didn't do real hot. Some of them are popping up now, but I didn't think they were even going to grow at all. I just threw some peppers in there. I'd probably benefit more from the pepper plants anyway. Over here, got lettuce on the right side of this box, followed by 3 different kinds of potatoes. Now here's my Yukon Golds, the only Yukon Golds I have this year, because I just decided I like the red potatoes better, so I focus more on them. Right here in this middle patch here is purple potatoes. I forgot the exact name of them, but I have had them before, and they're not really anything special to eat, like taste-wise. They're not really that great, but they're kind of a novelty because they are purple potatoes, so it's kind of interesting and kind of different. And then this is where I put the last of my red seed potatoes. After I finish the main red potato patch over there, which I've done a couple videos on. Red potatoes, they grow up pretty vigorous. The most vigorous of any potatoes that I've grown so far. This whole box is sugar snap peas. They're, I guess, 2, 3, maybe some of them almost 4 inches tall now. These are a farm favorite. Everyone that is around, and my son loves to eat them. I love to eat them. Like a sweet snack you can just have while you're outside. You just eat them raw. They're delicious. Over here, this was all bicolored corn, peaches and cream, I guess it's called in a lot of circles. It was coming up pretty decent, but I've had chipmunk problems in here. I got a trap now. To guard against that, I replanted a lot of the missing spots today because a chipmunk will come in here and they will dig up the corn plant to eat what's left of the original seed. They just dig up the plants and chew the seeds, and here's more chipmunk damage. This is what they leave me with. So I've caught 2 chipmunks in this box now. So hopefully I'm coming to the end of that problem. Once these plants get bigger, they'll also start leaving alone, but right now they're really young and vulnerable. Over here is a tomato and some peppers and flowers. So I started all these from seed. I usually buy all my plants at the store and stuff, but I tried to be a little more self-sufficient this year. So I planted some seeds a month and a half ago or whatever it was to grow my own tomato plants. And let's see, this is early pick, cherry tomatoes, beefsteak, and bush steak. And they kind of look crappy for about a week, and now they're starting to snap out of it. Starting to look better. Green peppers, so not looking real hot. I started all these from seed. They did look worse. They're starting to snap out of it. And a row of habanero peppers, not looking real good. Hopefully the next time I do a video of these, they'll look much better. Here are zinnias and lemon queen sunflowers. So there's a sunflower, and there's sunflower, and a lot of these are zinnias, the big pretty flowering plant. My son started one a couple years ago. We got from church or something. They planted a seed in a tiny little pot, and he brought it to me. I grew it, and it grew in this big, beautiful, flowering bush-like flower. So I've continued to grow them since then because they're just pretty and fun. They get big and they're easy. Once they get started, they're pretty easy to take care of. The bean box. I have the chipmunks have been in here too, but I planted more plants, and it's been harder for them to kill all of them, or enough of them to make a huge difference. I had green beans on the left, yellow beans on the right. And the final box that I got planted is about half. It's not marked really well, but I do know what's in it. About half this box from here over is carrots, which start really small. They just start as this little grass looking stuff. And that's where carrots come from. Over here I planted a whole mix of stuff. I was out of space and I had some more seeds to throw in. A few sunflowers. Just coming up. Muskmelon, watermelon, cucumbers. I threw it all in here. It'll be an interesting mess once it gets going. Just starting to come up. That looks like a muskmelon or a cucumber. I can't tell yet. It's probably a muskmelon or a cucumber. This box I haven't got to yet. And last fall I put in something that looks like it's going to pay off. Probably not so much this year, but maybe next year. It's this blueberry patch. So I'd been wanting blueberry plants last year, and I couldn't find any. And if I did find some, they were like half dead or whatever. And one day I just happened to be at Tractor Supply, and they had about a dozen big, beautiful blueberry bushes for sale outside. It was like the same price as whenever I would find crappy ones. So I bought, I think, all but a couple of them. I picked the best ones. I left a few in case someone else wanted some. I tried to be a little nice, not take them all. They're much bigger than the usual blueberry bush you see for sale. They're a couple years advanced. So this blueberry bush here has an admirer. I see there's a little frog here. Not little. Got an escapee from the pond, apparently. So these are Premier and Powder Blue blueberries. Got high hopes for them in the future. They do have some flowers, but nothing real crazy. I believe they will produce some blueberries this year. And I did throw in these 2 little ones. Now this is typically what you'll see when you go to buy a blueberry bush from the store. It's a little sad looking little bush compared to that, which is what I ended up getting, fortunately. I did get 2 more this spring and threw them in just for variety. Sometimes I just can't help but buy plants when I find them at the store. There's the other one I bought just this year, Polaris blueberry. Got some flowers, just small little bush. Clearly a year or so behind what I got going on here with these other ones. Now on to the big show. The fruit area, fruit and bee area. Here's just a shot of my other row of elephant grass. Coming along pretty strong. This pine tree I planted here a few years ago. When I very first moved in, I planted this tree and it was like 5 inches tall. I originally thought it was a white pine, but because I wanted to have the state tree in my yard, but I was mistaken. It's like some kind of scrubbier pine that I really don't care for, but it's still kind of a pretty tree. This juniper, cedarish type tree, I dug that up from the woods too and threw it here. Because I originally didn't have all this in mind. I kind of went nuts, but in a good way. In a good way. I have kind of lost count of exactly how many trees I have on my property. I think it's around 30 to 32 fruit trees. The Honeycrisp looking a little funky. I tied them down for a I can't say pruning because I didn't prune them, but it's like I'm forming the tree. I'm forming it to spread. They had the style of the tree. They were kind of lanky, and they're all those limbs are pointing straight up, so that's not really good for the long-term health of your tree. You want it to spread out a little bit. So I saw some ideas on manipulating their growth. That's what it is, manipulating their growth. And so I've tied them down as such, and they look a little funky right now. In the future they'll be spread out and they'll look formed and kind of cool, hopefully. And the red potato patch, kicking butt. I did an individual video on that the other day. So this whole row here is Honeycrisp. There's 3 trees in a row are Honeycrisp, and the way back there, hard to see, I got a Bartlett pear stuffed in the corner. It's my John Mac apple tree, going on its 3rd year. This second year. I planted it, and last year was the first year it grew, and then this year it should grow some more. Okay, it's hard to keep track exactly how long I've had some of these things. Time flies. So this tree is doing pretty good. Pretty healthy. Interesting enough, this is a Yellow Delicious. I bought at the same time and planted the same day as that tree, that John Mac, and it did not do much last year. It pretty much kicked out some leaves and just stalled. Didn't really grow, it put out any growth. I don't know what the heck. At least I'm trying. Got 2 Gala apples here. Just put these in last fall. Don't expect much from them this year. They do have a few flowers on them. I don't see anything set yet. Frost was hard on all these trees. I had a lot more flowers and was expecting a lot more fruit. I probably would have got a lot of fruit, but a lot of my stuff got burned. Now it's basically just just now recovered and starting to grow. It's focused on vegetative because a lot of the fruiting flowers and stuff got frosted bad a couple weeks ago on Mother's Day. There's my Bartlett pear over there, my young one. Red Delicious there, and there, and there. Red Delicious is not a very tasty apple. I don't even know why I put these in here. I should have known better, because like one of the least desirable apples to eat. But I got sucked into what a lot of people report they get sucked into when they're at the store and they see a beautiful fruit tree. Like the tree itself is just pretty, so they buy it and put it in their mini orchard. So that's what I'm dealing with here. Maybe I can find some kind of use for them. This is a Santa Rosa plum. It's never done real hot. It's a Walmart tree. Actually, I think the only tree I got here from Walmart. And it's green. Like last year, the whole top of it died off and I pruned it back. This year it's greened up good. We'll see how much growth it actually puts on. So Yellow Delicious, I put in the same time as the Galas over there. Once again, not expecting much from it. Just put it in this year. I mean, last fall. So this will be its first year of growing. This is the senior tree in my fruit block out here. Bartlett pear I put in the very first spring I bought this property in 2017. I have harvested 8 pears from it in 3 years. It grew a lot of flowers this year and they all got frosted bad despite my best efforts to cover it up, which leads me to another story. Right here is where I tipped over a stool I was standing on. I was trying to cover this tree up and fractured my leg. Broke my leg trying to cover this tree up. True story. Pretty horrible situation. I fell hard on the ground right here. It was only about 3 feet up. I can't believe how hard I fell from that height, and whacked my shin on the seat of the bar stool and effectively broke my leg. So I'll be learning from that lesson in the future. Here's the Ayers pear. I put this in last spring. It had flowers. They all got frosted. It's like same story over and over. A lot of these trees had flowers and they got frosted. But it is a beautiful tree. Fingers crossed for next year. It's hopefully going to get a lot of good vegetative growth and put on size and just be healthy, which it looks pretty healthy. This is a North Star cherry. It was covered in flowers. Covered in flowers. This thing also got frosted, as you can see. And so far, the best I can tell, this tree actually has the only piece of fruit that is set fruit on this whole stinking farm right here. Right there, I have one single cherry trying to grow. Out of all these, look at all these dead flowers. So sad. I do have some other flowers. I can't tell if they're gonna actually set fruit or not. This is a pink lady I put in this year. It was doing just fine. It's actually the only apple tree I planted this year. It was doing good. The last few days it's been in the upper 80s to mid 80s, and it was like really droopy. It caught me off guard. It was wilted. I came and watered it and it snapped back a little. It's definitely not looking super hot. I'm expecting nothing from it this year. Hopefully next year it comes back. That is an Alberta peach tree. If you can see it. It had a lot of flowers. Once again, they got frosted. Superior plum. It is a pretty healthy tree. Grew a lot of flowers. They got frosted. Now the tree's just growing vegetatively. Of course, I got 4 beehives all together. They're pretty fun, pretty expensive hobby. I have not gained a single dollar from. Basically, I have spent maybe $1,500 on beekeeping and made $0. I got about 1.5 gallons of honey last year. But 3 of these colonies are new and they're doing pretty well, so maybe things will turn around. There's a Italian prune plum. Just put this in this year. I didn't put in a whole lot of trees over here this year. I just filled in some of the empty spots. But this tree's looking pretty good. It's going to put on some good growth this year. John O'Mac apple tree. It's got a lot of flowers on it. I can't tell if they're going to set or not. Probably in a week or so I'll be able to tell if I'm getting anything from it. And I got this one other Honeycrisp apple tree over here in the corner, also tied down. It's spread way out. It's really easy to picture how it's going to grow in the future. It'll be wider and lower. So the fruit will be lower and the tree will be spread out and produce more. That's the idea. It's starting to rain on me, but I'm almost done. Just leaving this area now. This is a brush pile where my dog likes to chase small animals. In fact, I'm sure she's over here right now. There she is. She's had a extreme interest in this wood pile for several days now. I'm sure something's in it. She can't get it. She's pretty dedicated. There's the brush pile, like I said. Nothing to that. All this trash that's here, I didn't put it there. It came with the house. I've been slowly digging it out a bit at a time. Whatever I can fit in my dumpster. Yeah, there's like some mattress pad or something in here. Man, people are so stupid. How would you litter like that on your own property? Blows my mind. This is new. Not real impressive or exciting to look at. It's just this was 2 truckloads of stump grindings of oak trees. So this will be compost for future gardening endeavors. My dog's knocking over all my wood from my wood pile. What is it? You're never gonna catch it. You've been over here for days. Alright, here's this will be the last leg of the trip. So 3 Marycrest nectarines. They were covered in flowers this spring. Once again, all got frosted. Now there's no fruit on them. Going to be no fruit this year. They're growing vegetatively. So at least I got that. Pretty sad. I was set to get so much fruit this year and I've so much invested. I've added up. I have somewhere between $1,100 and $1,200 for the fruit trees I planted here, and I've gotten 8 pairs so far. So definitely hoping to get some paybacks in the future. That's some pretty expensive pears. You're paying $1,200 for 8 pairs. All right, here's one of the saddest parts of my yard right now. Right here. I planted 6 sweet cherry trees. They were doing just great, doing good. I planted them and they were dormant, no buds on them to speak of yet. And then started to warm up and they budded out, and then bam, we got frosted and wrecked them. It messed them up bad. But they're trying to come back. I'm gonna leave them and see what they do. It's growing back here and here. Now cherry trees are capable of putting out long shoots, so they could come back most of the way. This was a Bing cherry, black Tartarian cherry. I'm pretty confident this one's gonna come back. But man, they all look like crap right now. It sucks. There's another Bing. It's trying to come back. It's coming back. Definitely pretty rough shape. Right here, I had 3 Sweetheart cherries. As you can see, they're all just hit frost wrecked. Trying to grow back. Hopefully the next video I do of these, maybe in a month or 2, will show that they're coming back. Because right now they are pretty sorry looking trees. Pretty sorry indeed. This one's got a lot of shoots at the base trying to pop up. Now, like I said, cherry trees can grow a foot, foot and a half, even up to 2 feet under good conditions. Now these trees were hurt pretty bad this year, so I don't know if they'll grow 2-foot long shoots or anything, but they're trying to come back. It's pretty sad. Here's the very last Bing. Frosted, real bad, but it's trying to come back. I guess that's it for now. It was a pretty long video, but if I get more subscribers, they can use this video to reference my progress, and this video will be for me to reference my own progress mostly. Where is it? You gonna ever catch anything back here? Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching if you made it this far.